All right, welcome. Class number 3 is in session. Today's class and the curriculum that you're going to learn today is very eye-opening because it shows you exactly why you have not been successful in executing projects to completion or in achieving goals or in seeing the changes that you really deep in your heart want to see happen. And this research is really going to empower you because it tells you the 2 requirements of any goal, any project, any change you want to make. And before I want to get into that research, I do want to touch base about our class yesterday. So the paradigm that we talked about yesterday around change and how human beings process change, whether or not you're in phase 1, phase 2, or phase 3, I could feel, no joke, on this side of the camera when I sat down to start today's class, I could still feel like the popcorn popping in terms of the way that that paradigm shifts how you see yourself and how you see where other people are stuck in your life. And so I do want to just reiterate one thing. We are going to cover how to handle people in your life who are stuck in phase 1. We are going to cover what happens when you show up at work and you're in phase 3, man, and you've like kind of started really kicking ass and you're like want the team to now like raise their expectations, or you're like, this is the year we're going to do X, 7 figures, 8 figures, like whatever. Slow your roll a little, okay? Because what happens is, I know when I first saw the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, I wanted to just start to tell everybody, we got to get in phase 3. We got to level up. You got to lead people there. And before you can just go, we're in it, we're going, we're this. I want that enthusiasm, but your friend and Professor Mel Robbins is crazy deliberate. Enthusiasm, and too much enthusiasm at the beginning of a project without the discipline of clarity and strategy and research, it's one of the reasons why you're failing. I used to be the queen of false starts, get so excited about this, and then boom, I sprint forward, and just like a high school track meet, I am out of those gates fast, but I have no stamina. And I'm not even really running the right race. And so we're going to slow our roll just a little bit. I'm excited if you know where you are, and I'm excited to empower you to bring yourself and others along. But part of the discipline when it comes to excellence and change and habits and you leveling up your own life or your business is strategy. It's clarity. It's not about doing more, it's about doing less. And the thing that we're going to do less of is running the around chasing our tails. We got to do more strategic thinking. And that brings me to today's research, because frankly, you're not ready to define your project yet. And I know that you got questions about it. Why are we not talking about the project? Why have we not launched anything? Why have we not done this? I'll tell you why. You don't just throw a rocket in the air. You have to prepare for it. You've got to build a safe structure. It's got to be stable. And you got to be so focused on what you're going to do that when you count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all systems are aligned to achieve your launch. And so here's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about research related to successful goal completion. And I'm going to talk about this research because you know that I'm a very inspirational person. And you know that I want you to launch an inspired life. Well, what does inspired life means? It means a life and a day-to-day routine that is inspired by your goals and dreams, inspired by your mission, fueled by a strategic objective. And so that is what I mean when I say I'm really intentional. And part of the reason why I used to not follow through on my commitments is because I wasn't taking time to get crystal clear about what I gave a shit about and what I didn't, what I was willing to do and what I wasn't. Not for other people, but for me. And when you're not crystal clear about what you're launching and why you're doing it, it's not going to be a priority. So let's back up and let's talk today in class about a foundational piece of research that I need you to apply like right now. And this research comes from Dr. Elliot Berkman at the University of Oregon. Now, Dr. Berkman is the co-director of the Center for Translational Neuroscience and faculty in the Balmer Institute for Children's Behavioral Health. And he studies the motivational and cognitive factors that contribute to success and failure when people are going after health goals. And the truth is, health goals are like the hardest goals on the planet. They're so hardwired into sensation and emotion and perception and all of these things that are sort of buried in your subconscious. And so we're talking about behavior change that is some of the hardest stuff to do. And what he has found in his research is that there are two necessary dimensions to achieving any goal. Two. And I would go beyond necessary. I would say these are required. Necessary feels like nice to have. I'm saying you don't have one of these, you're not achieving your goal. And so let me explain what his research says. The two components that are requirements for achieving any goal is you must define the way you're going to do it and the why you're going to do it. Without these two, you will not make this change happen. So we're not even going to talk about launching until you understand the foundation here. The way, let's talk about that one first, because I'm like the way person, like I'm the how brand. The 5-second rule is a how. The high five habit is a how. I am known around the world as somebody who can take complicated intellectual and research-backed topics and distill it down into a simple how. So the way is how you're going to launch, how you're going to change whatever behavior you're trying to change, how you're going to get that book done, how you're going to get that grant completed, how you're going to transform the way that you lead and bring your team to the next level. How and the way involves the cognitive and informational aspects of the change you want to make, the project you want to complete, the goal you want to achieve. And this is why this is important. Because when it comes to the cognitive and informational aspects of the behavior change, the brain circuits that you're going to use are the brain circuits that are involved in executive functioning. And it requires you to break down, okay, if you're going to do something, if you're going to complete a project, what are the skills and the capacities that you need in order to complete it? What is the plan? What is the timeline? How are you going to do this? Do you need help? All of those functions in the brain that help you create a map and dissect down the process. And so I'm going to explain this, and there are notes in your workbook because I want you to start to think about, is this the area where the wheels come off for you? That you get like all motivated and excited, why you want to do it, like maybe you've got 15 gym memberships. You know why you need to do it, but it's in the execution of actually getting there. And what do they say about going to the gym? The hardest part is showing up. Your problem is in the way. You know why you want to do it. That's not your problem. Your problem is in the way, okay? And so this is a critical thing for you to understand if this is a strength for you or if it's a weakness. Now, this is a strength for you if you do nothing but come up with plans. You do nothing but do to-do lists. You do nothing but dream big and create PowerPoints and write business plans or read books about personal development. You understand all the things you're supposed to do, but you can't get yourself to do it. Well, what I will tell you is the second requirement to completing a project, achieving a goal, changing behavior, it's missing, and that's the why. And the why is critical because the why ties into the motivational and emotional aspects of behavior change. And this is important because you not only need the why to start, that's what we call activation energy. The 5-second rule is an excellent tool to get you to start, but your why is also one of the key things that is going to get you to continue to chip away and show up and be consistent. Because the why is the dopaminergic reward system. You've heard of dopamine, which is the chemical that is tied to motivation, reward, and craving. It's a critical part of you being able to tap into the energy to push through any lethargy or desire not to do something and to keep going. And so if you haven't identified for real, why is this project or this behavior change important to you? Why do you want to do it right now? Why do you want to change? And if you keep failing at something, I'll tell you why. You probably know what to do, but you have not gone deep enough to uncover why you want to do it. And I'll tell you one of the major mistakes I see people making. they believe that they should change. They feel guilty about where they're at. And so there's this obligation or this shame or this guilt or this pressure that is driving all the plan making, all the commitments, but you don't really want to change. You don't really have a reason why you want to do it other than you want people in your life to get off your back. You want to stop feeling something. That's not enough of a why. And we're going to come back to this question, why? And we're going to answer it today. And look, I'm well aware that I asked you in your intake survey, why are you taking this course? And I am well aware that I am now asking you a second time, why are you here? Well, the reason why I'm asking you this question today in class in lesson number 3 is because I don't think you're in touch with your why. I believe that there is a deeper layer to why you signed up for this course, and you're probably not even in touch with this. We can handle the way and the how. That's typically the easy part. We got to nail the why right now. And I want to go back to what we learned in class 2 about the 3 psychological phases of change. If you found that you are personally in phase 1 and you're feeling hopeless about something that's happened in your life or where you're at, I explained that, that narrows your focus. And all you can think about if you feel hopeless is survival. That's the why that got you into the course. But now we got to dig deeper, because I don't want you to just relieve that pain. I want you to think even bigger, okay? So you just hold tight if you're in phase 1. If you're in phase 2, you're coping. Your energy is drained. You've been thinking about your why. You've been thinking about your how, but you're so tired and you're on autopilot and you're burnt out and you're kind of beaten down. I'm going to tell you something. That desire to change that got you here, but it's not going to get us to phase 3. Because you have a limited capacity in terms of what you think is possible, right? And that's where the coaching comes in. That's where the big takeaway comes from this research. Your why, it's required. And we got to put it in phase 3. That's right. You need to go bigger in terms of why do you want to change? Because this is deeply personalized change, deeply personalized projects that we're talking about here. And so let's visualize that you're kicking ass, you're in phase 3. Why? What is the breakthrough that's worth this? What's going to bring more energy into your life? Because you deserve that. And I'm going to share you a story. So I know I shared earlier that what I'm going to be taking on when we do this shoulder to shoulder, and what I'm already taking on in this curriculum is I'm writing a book in 6 weeks. And that means I am going to create a rough draft of probably between 200 and 250 pages in 6 weeks. Now, my original why was, okay, I think I'm going to pick the book as my project because I got to get this damn thing done. But that's not inspiring, is it? Does that sound like a phase 3 why? Not really. Kind of sounds like coping and adapting, doesn't it? Maybe even survival. Oh shit, I wouldn't get this done if I don't have the structure of the launch program. I better get this freaking thing done. That's not that inspiring. But if I go into phase 3, which is Mel Robbins kicking ass, taking names, she has leveled up, she's raised her expectations. This is about execution, not excuses. This is about excellence, not survival or coping. Here's what I realized when I put myself in a state of excellence, when I put myself in a state of energy, when I put myself in a state of raising my own expectations is, I'll tell you what the breakthrough is that I want to have. I want to have a breakthrough in the misery I create for myself. I have this tendency to tell myself a story that things are going to be hard. And I have a tendency to bitch about things that don't come easily. And the fact is, writing something does not come easily to me because of the dyslexia and the ADHD. Oop, there we go. Couple excuses. Did you hear that story I just told you? In fact, if you go to the welcome video, let's coach Mel Robbins. Rewatch the welcome video. You know what you're going to see? You're going to see a point in the welcome video where I start to tell you a story about how hard it is for Mel Robbins to write a book. And then you know what happens? I literally slip in to that energetic zone where it's like the arrow going down in phase 1. You can feel my energy going down. And luckily, I understand what I'm about to teach you. So even though I can slip into those phases, I can catch the energy and get myself back up. So here's my phase 3 breakthrough. I'm going to make this fucking easy and fun. I mean, how amazing would that be? Talk about raising expectations. Not just get the book done, Mel, but be shocked by the level of excellence and execution with which you show up in the next 6 weeks. That's phase 3. That is what is worth being here for. That's what's worth curving out the time for. That's worth showing up for. If I can actually have that kind of breakthrough with myself as I am working on this project and I can show up in that kind of why, holy shit, this will be not only a great book, but I'll be a different me. And that's why I'm asking you this again. There's something available to you now, and we're only 2 lessons into this thing. 2 lessons into this curriculum. Why are you here? For real. What is this about? Why does showing up to you in this course matter? Why is it important for you to launch? What do you want to launch into? I have to get you to have a reason that is worth dragging your ass out of bed and watching a video and doing the workbook and then committing to not just the way and the how, but you got to have a reason to keep showing up because, we're not going to rush this thing. That's the other thing that's going to happen. You're going to be really surprised. You're going to be really surprised because when you nail down the why this actually matters to you, what's possible for you, if you raise your expectations for yourself, and if you bring some energy to this and some focus and a level of excellence, you'll be shocked what you get done by the end of this. Or shocked what you make progress on, or shocked how your thinking changes, or how your energy or your emotions change. And so we are going to take this slow and steady. And I think that's also something that's really important here. One of the reasons why people do not complete projects, do not have the success they deserve, do not create the wealth that they want, and do not make the impact that they want to make is because they rush things. They get an idea and they sprint. And then what happens when you sprint? You lose stamina and you get discouraged and you give up. And so we're going to get the foundations correct because that's where the magic is. We're not going to rush into the project. We will be there in 2 days. So don't be worried about the project. Right now, you got one job, and it is to figure out where your weak spot is. Is it typically in the way or in the why? And go back to the drawing board on the why. Dig a little deeper. Raise your expectations for yourself. All right. Another gold star for you, baby, because we celebrate the wins, and simply showing up and listening to me yell at you today is a win. All right, go figure out that why, and I'll see you in class tomorrow.